What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for a post-day, post-match reaction. As always, on a post-day, I have members this time too, not just Norbert, but Malik is joining as well to discuss what is being um, a confusing result. I'm gonna call it a confusing result because I've seen people being very happy, very satisfied, angry, disappointed, name it, frustrated. It's been all over the place. So it's a weird result with a lot to talk about, considering what actually happened on the pitch. But firstly, I will introduce Norbert and Malik. How are you guys doing on this Monday evening?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you. I guess it is what it is. Our midfield is what it is, and yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's delve in.
It is what it is. I will start off with the first and probably the obvious question. Um, do you come out of that game, and you believe more in us winning a potential title this season, or do you come out of that game still unbothered, unfazed, just status quo, nothing changed? What about you, Norbert?
Yeah, for me, nothing changed. The needle didn't move. Yeah. Neither of the teams wanted to win. That was so clear. Um, no chances, no nothing. Both of these mistakes that the teams made, they paid for it. So 1-1 is a just result, and I'm content with it. I'm not happy. I'm not angry. I'm somewhere in the middle.
What about you, Norbert? Norbert, Malik, do you come out of that game with, I don't know, something you learned, which you
It's
didn't
a,
know?
it's a confusing result because one side is like, okay, we avoided defeat, we're still 2 points behind them, but at the same time, you think to yourself, we were at home, we could have gone for it much more, could have gone top. Allegri's post-game comments I didn't really like, saying, "Oh, winning wouldn't have been beneficial." Like, what's that all about? So yeah, I don't know. People always say it's us or Inter to win the league. I personally don't believe in us winning the league. The way we play is very unsustainable. I'm not saying Inter were phenomenal yesterday because they weren't. No one was. Both teams just played for a draw.
Yeah, I come out of that game and I learned nothing from us. Like, to be honest, like from our standpoint of view, like from what I thought this team was at this moment in time, I didn't learn anything new. I got what I expected basically, uh, going into the game. It's just what we have been doing for the last couple of weeks. Besides, we made a big error defensively, and that cost us the game basically. Which we didn't do in previous games. That's why we were winning and keeping clean sheets. We messed up big time at the back. When we praised that back line, they made a big mistake. All three of them basically, and that was very rare in the last month or so. So I didn't learn anything. However, this might sound crazy because it's coming from me. I come out of that game believing more in the title than I did going into the game, and it has nothing to do with us. It has all. It's all about Inter because it's 1/3 of the season now that has been passed. 13 games, so it's 1/3 of the season now, and Inter are still not clicking how I think they should be clicking based on the squad they have. And 1/3 of the season, it's not a lot in terms of, it's not important. 1/3 in the season, still a long way to go. League title, uh, sorry, Serie A title, yeah, league title. It's not really telling at this moment in time. However, it's 1/3 of the season, and I think, and I was on an Inter channel to do a preview, and he agreed. Anthony, he said like it's still not what it should be, and 13 games in, maybe that's a bit worrying for the Inter side. They're still winning, but they're keeping us close, or we are keeping pace with them. And based on yesterday's game, there wasn't much of a difference in my opinion. There wasn't.
Yeah,
Like, it wasn't like, oh my god, they were so much better. I think if they clicked into another gear, they would have caused us some more issues. But I never had a feeling they're gonna score. Like besides that, like after that 1-1 second half, I'm like, this is just gonna end like this. Like it is what it is, and my belief grew based on Inter's performance. Because it's 1/3 of the season, they're not clicking. You have Inzaghi already complaining, about injuries, and I was like, well, what should Allegri do? Like he was missing Locatelli. One player is suspended because he was gambling. The other took doping. Like what's the excuse for Allegri? So it's maybe far fetched, but like he was complaining about not having Sanchez, and I'm like, you don't play him week in, week out. Like he's not a key player for your team. So not sure what he was complaining there. Like missing Bassoni, fair, but we have been missing players all season, and we already have a weird built squad. So based on that, I'm like, we have a shot. It's a long shot, but there is a possibility because somehow, some way, this team finds a way to win games or stay in it lately. Will it last? I don't know. However, that Inter game yesterday, I looked at it and I'm like, that's still not as scary as it should be, or like as dominating as it should be compared to the other teams in the league. Like I'm not saying they have a world class team filled with world class players, but compared to other teams, they're more complete. If you look at the bench and the players they could bring in, I'm like, they have options. We don't have those options. Basically, we don't. And I think that was very telling when Nicolucci come. Like he didn't have a disaster of a game, but when Locatelli came in, there was a big difference in midfield. Like there was, because he is a better player than Nicolucci. And yes, it was Nicolucci's first game. However, that's something that was very evident on that game yesterday when Nicolucci come in. So I come out of that game believing a little bit more. But weirdly enough, it has nothing to do with us. It more has to do with what Inter put out there. And I wasn't really impressed with Inter's approach and even their mentality, because I thought when they looked at us, or I was looking at us, and I was like, if I were Inzaghi, I'm going for it. Like I'm going for it because if I push, I'm probably gonna win this game. I have more quality. They're not struggling, but like they're toothless. We Juve, and he didn't go for it, and that I don't think it was about respect, but I think it was more about 2 points top. I'm not taking any risks here. Point is a point. But will
So
that mindset for Inter be enough throughout the season when they clearly have the better squad and they should be going to kill off games because they have all the tools to kill off certain games and they didn't?
so do you think the Inter fans are more disappointed than us?
Yeah, 100% sure.
Yeah, they should be, I think.
They
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah.
I was disappointing for the goal we conceded because we could have won that game because the mistake we made is very like it's not something we do. It was bad. Rugani stepping out, you take the ball or you take the player out. It's one of the two. He did none of the two. I'm like, fine. Ball goes to Bremer. You give Thuram a little shove, just a little notch off the ball, and he didn't do that as well. The Gatti one, he was in the most difficult position out of all the three, but they made a very uncharacteristic mistake. Like they messed up. That's why I'm very disappointing, because I just want to win that game against Inter. I don't care how. But Inter fans, they should be more disciplined, or shouldn't they? Because they are the favorites. They know they are the favorites, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't play like they were the favorites yesterday. They didn't show that, and that was very, very strange. I couldn't believe what I was watching the second half. Like both teams were like, "I'll take the point," and it was like around minute 65 they made that decision. They were like, "Okay, it's a point, then it's a point." I found that very weird, but that's something that gave me belief moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. And if you look at the bench, like Inter has players on the bench that can actually come in and decide about the game, and we don't have anything. So yeah.
Malik, were you, or like what Inter showed yesterday? Were you impressed, or are you like they have a new mindset now where they're like, we go away with a point. That point can be key for winning or us winning. Like you can look at it both ways. You can flip my thought process and say they matured and like a point is a point. We're 2 points top and we move on.
Sometimes it's important to think like that to win the league. We saw that with Allegri so many times. But it's just like when you compare us to them, they just have way more quality than us in terms of depth, structurally, solidity. Going into the game, they were definitely favorites to win that, especially considering our absences and whatnot. But yeah, they look toothless. So I don't know, which surprised me. I can't lie. They only really created one chance, which was Lautaro's goal. So
Yeah, that was the weird part. Like I was expecting, even the way that they approached the game, I was expecting more pressure on Chesney, but he had nothing to do basically. Same as Sommer, they both had nothing to do. Maybe Chesney a bit more, but like it was just training balls, like one or two training balls. Other than that, there's no real danger for them scoring. And like my confidence grew based on the Inter performance, not really ours, because I think this is it for us. Unless something drastically change, this is who we are. We're not gonna play not even fantastic football. I just see something up top, because besides the goal, and that was just Vlahovic, winning the ball back and getting it quick to Chiesa. It wasn't like something straight from the training pitch. It wasn't something like that. So we're not gonna see that. So this is who we are. However, I think Inter have a few gears to go up to. But that's I think as expected. Individually or like performance wise, I will that midfield. What does it lack? Because I don't think they got overpowered yesterday. We gave them the ball. I think that was very obvious. If you saw the stat, Çalhanoğlu had more passes than our three midfielders combined. Which was it's hilarious. Like even if it's short passes or to Sommer or whatever, it's so crazy. But that tells you we gave them possession. So that was that. But I didn't feel like they were getting outmatched out there physically. And I said it needs to be a physical battle. They do have more quality in midfield. I think that's obvious. And isn't it obvious that we need to do something in January? Because pre-game, Juntili said, we'll see. Maybe not, but we want to see what Nicolucci can do and Junior because they're underutilized. I think that was a little shot. I don't know, because you can say that he didn't use Junior yesterday again. So what is the point? And then after the game, Allegri said teams are built in June, so the transfer market in January, forget about it. I'm like, fair point, but we didn't build a team in June, so you better start building it now in January because you need to. We lack quality. Is that the big thing? Like, let's say we sign some artists. I'm just putting something out there. Is that what we're missing in these type of games? A player in midfield who can make the difference, I guess. Because yesterday was more of the same again. McKennie, a lot of praise, hardworking. He's not a good footballer. Like I'm sorry. Like it's not to single him out, but I think yesterday that was very clear. Like he lacks just basic stuff on a certain level. So do you think a player coming in could be the difference, especially in midfield?
Yeah. So our midfield can defend, and I think they showed it like numerous times. But if you want to pass to McKennie and you think that he will be like a magician or he will create something, that's never gonna happen. So I think we need at least one technical midfielder, if not two, because this midfield will create, especially if Miratti is not playing, this they will create nothing. So yeah, and I think that's the plan. So we will sign at least one midfielder, and for me, Samardzic would be perfect. Obviously, Turam we will not get. So yeah, we will see.
I'm on board the Samardzic hype train. I'd like for him to come. I think he'd He'd give a good boost to our midfield. But one thing our midfield is lacking and has lacked for a few years now is having an output, as in goals scored, assists. Ignore Rabiot's freak season last season, but that's generally been the trend since I'd say 2019, 2018. And one thing we used to praise ourselves on back in the nine in a row years was the midfield getting a huge chunk of the goals, and now that's we lack that a lot. And add that to the fact our forwards are barely even scoring. This was Vlavic's first goal since September. So yeah, just we lack conviction.
But it almost like doesn't really matter who we bring in because they will gray into the midfield. And Samardzic will not score too many goals, I think. So it's hard to say who is the best solution. But for me, Samardzic is someone who I think he's young. He's still I don't know where his like potential is, but so far he's really good in the Serie A, and yeah, for me he will be a good step forward.
Yeah, I would have loved Soboslai, honestly.
Yes,
You're right.
Soboslai this year is playing insane, not injured at all. He's the best midfielder in Liverpool. Yeah, that would have been
I
awesome.
thought we would have even afforded him, honestly, but we move.
Yeah, but he really wanted to play in England.
Yeah,
He said several times, and also Liverpool he thinks really highly of, and that's why he chose number 8 because Gerrard is his I don't know.
as idol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh, Xavier, like I can read it out your name in Dutch, but I'm not gonna do it because it's probably wrong. But he said I think we're missing more than one man, like than just a midfield, which I agree on.
yeah,
But I think this is very evident now. I think we're missing somebody who can carry the ball.
yeah.
I know Allegri
Was
says
meant to be
Rabiot can
was
do it.
meant to be Pogba for that role, but yeah,
Excuse me.
Pogba.
Oh
yeah, it
yeah,
was meant
yeah.
to.
I mean, yeah, yeah. He's not there. Like Rabiot, he carries the ball to a certain point, and then he turns back, or like it's not the driving the ball up the field that we need. It needs to be more decisive. It needs to be more straightforward. And I think that's what we're missing now. Besides the goals, obviously, like we're missing them. But that's a style of play. Look at Rabiot's goals last season. Like there were there were headers, like, and they're so good goals, but like, and they count. But I don't think that's what we're being missing. Well, like if
Yeah,
you look
most
at
of them from set pieces anyway.
yeah, and if you look
Yeah,
at yesterday, like there was not a midfielder making a movement, straightforward. And if it was McKennie. But like I said, he's extremely limited. Like he can only do so much, And when um people say he's having a good season, I agree for his standards. But when you have your coach come out say, "Oh, he's making up," I told him, what you lack in ability, you make up in intensity or like drive. I'm like, the coach is trying to tell you you're not a good footballer. Like just work
yeah.
hard, basically. When he said that, I was like, wow, like it's not
Yeah.
just me. It's obvious, It was a reason why we sent him away, and it was a reason why he wasn't good at Leeds as well. He's good hard working, but if you want to improve, like he shouldn't be in that midfield. He
But
shouldn't.
did you see? There was something interesting for me is that it felt like in defense. Yes, Cambiasso is on the wing, and McKenna is in the middle. But then when then we brought out the ball, then McKenny went to the outside, and
Yeah, they
then
switched.
yeah,
Mhm.
and Cambiasso went inside, and I felt like that's smart because knowing how McKinney can carry the ball, and Cambiasso is also sees better on the field, but obviously it's not a long term solution or not a
No,
solution that works. Yeah,
no, it's obviously not the solution. Other than that, um, it was very, I don't know. Should I call it boring? I saw a lot of people saying good game. I'm not
how?
sure if I need to call that. I'm not sure if I can call that a good game. Is it a good point?
It's
yeah, like
debatable.
it's
I
Yeah.
was hyped. I was hyped, and that carried me pretty well into the second half.
yeah, I agree. Like at one point in the second half, I would think it was minute 75. I'm almost like, what am I watching? Like, there's nothing going on. Like for
Yeah.
either teams, like, is this like did they agreed? I don't know. At halftime, we're not going for it. It was very strange. Like it was very strange. The game was very strange. Excuse me for the comments. They're not coming through immediately, but we are shadow banned by YouTube, so it is what it is. But I will try to get them out as soon as possible. Um, Other than that, I think the most talked about point is Vlahovic, maybe Chiesa a little bit as well. Wait, let me read out the comments first because now I can see them. The most confusing thing about this game was that Inter didn't try to step on our neck in the second half. Only good God knows why they play for a draw. They could have killed us off. Yeah, that's my thing. You can look at both ways. Trying to do the smart thing, mature thing, and say point is a point. Again, I think it's very early in the season to think that way, in my opinion. But or you can look at it my way and saying, they're still not clicking, and that could give us an opportunity. At this point, are you guys on board with selling one of Chiesa or Vlahovic to rebuild the team?
Nope.
Okay, so there's. I was gonna say, as a discussion I will have on another podcast or something, but you heard it. No,
Nope.
I'm split, but I'm not gonna discuss that now.
Chiesa is our only spark right now,
Yeah. Like
and
I mean, it's is it a spark? Eh, it's a
I
spark in
think
the rain.
yeah,
In the rain, like it's out really quickly.
yeah.
So
yeah, like selling Vlahovic to reinvest into the squad has crossed my mind quite a few times.
No one would pay us enough. That my fear, for Vlahovic.
Yeah, if it's 80 million, then
Yes.
honestly, I'm cashing in. But,
Yeah.
uh, with my head's a smart point, but emotionally it was depressing. It was a depressing point. Yeah. When people say it was a good game, I I cannot go fully on board on that because I don't know what you mean with good. Like, wasn't a good watch? Was it a good point? I don't know. Like, if Inter peppered us and we got a point out of it, I was like, yeah, good point. But it didn't happen. So I'm like, we didn't even give it a go. And we will, no, we will go in that first and then we will go to Chiesa and Vlahovic because I think Allegri made it very clear he was not going for the win when he subbed off Chiesa and Vlahovic. We brought on Keane and Milik. People said, oh, they were tired. I didn't see what the point was to bring those guys on. On top of that, he brings Alexandro on. Didn't play for 2 months. Gets cooked by a finished Juan Cuadrado, and I was like, oh boy, like I didn't miss you one bit. Like how bad can you be in an 8-minute cameo against Cuadrado, who's done. Like he's not a football player anymore. Like I'm sorry, like he hasn't been one, and you can see it. Even yesterday, like he's just not him anymore. That feared me when he brought on Alexander. I was like, if you really wanted to go for it, you didn't. You probably would have kept one of Chiesa or Vlahovic on, and you probably would have brought on Inning Junior at that point. He didn't do that, so he didn't want to go for the kill at home. Is that a part that for you, Norbert, is disappointing, or are you like, I get it, minute 80, take the point and you know run with it,
It's
basically?
it's Allegri, so
yeah.
we are used to it. Personally, at home, I think we should always play for a win. It doesn't matter who we play with, but it's Allegri, so I didn't have any. Like, it's not a surprise for me. So um, it's just this Inter was really not good. Like it was really a beatable team, and that's the disappointing part. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Um, it's yeah, it's super confusing. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, it is disappointing, especially considering the fact we took the lead. I think it would have a different complexion if we came from behind, for
Yeah.
example. We did take the lead and we conceded like straight away. and the manner in which we conceded was very uncharacteristic of our defense in the last month or so. So yeah, that makes it bitter. It's a bitter taste in the mouth because we could have won if we did take the lead. That was the first step. So yeah.
Yeah, but like I did, like I don't know if you could have won that game. Maybe if we opened up, Inter would have opened up and they would have killed us off. I don't know. But like I said, like you play at home, I expect more. Like I expect you to go for it, to show you want to win that game. And the moment that ball went in from Lautaro, we didn't do that. So that was frustrating. But talking about those two players, Vlahovic. Allegri said he played his best game since he joined the club.
Yeah, no.
Um,
No.
I think he said that about Chiesa after a game that was just very standard. I don't know which game it was. I thought about it all day. He said after a game, he said this is Chiesa's best game ever since he joined, and it was clearly not. Like he had better games. Um, but I thought
Why is he
Vlahovic.
saying these things? Why is
Yeah,
he
it's
I
saying these things?
I don't
weird
know. It's
things.
very hyperbolical. Like it's very extreme. Like he cannot be middle grounded. Like it's extreme, to a point where people start hating on you because it makes no sense. But I think Vlahovic had a good game yesterday. It wasn't easy for him because he was up there on his own a lot of the times trying to battle De Vrij or Cherby. It wasn't a given, but I thought his hold up play was good. His link up play was good. That was a good goal. He set it up. I thought he had a good game. And again, like when people say, "Oh, they miss big chances," okay, fine, but we don't create a lot of chances. Like the chances are what Chiesa missed, and he should have put it on target. By the way, he should have
Yeah.
put it on target, but it was on his weak foot. But still, the type of player he is, that should be on target. He tried to curl it way too much, but those are the chances they're living on. Like they're not tap-ins or like you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It
team
was
goals.
like it wasn't like that. So the chances they're living on are what they are. They need to get everything out of the chances they get. They do. This was the first goal since September, which is unbelievable, but it's the case. He's the top scorer of the club with 5 goals, which is not a lot. It's not a lot at this pace. He will get 15 at the end of the
Wait,
season.
Lautaro has what, 14 or 15 or something already?
Yeah,
Something.
13, something like that. Um, like at this pace, he will get 15, which is not enough for a striker. Like he should be getting 20 goals a season.
Yeah.
He's not gonna get it. We're not like no player is gonna get it. Like I will be already hyped if they get that between themselves in the league, him and Chiesa at this point. Um, but what do you make of him? You know, his celebration because he had 4 celebrations and one and one goal. People were hating on it. I didn't really have an issue with it, but I was like, yes, the way we play is the way we play, but it's not that you've been playing brilliantly, so I'm not sure you should be doing those things. Just celebrate that goal and keep it moving. Basically, I know they're frustrated, like they're
Yeah. Yeah, I
frustrated.
think
I think
he was
that's
just
it.
happy. Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
were. I think they were also frustrated. Like them kids, they were like, "Finally, we got it."
Yeah.
I get that, but somehow you need to keep that. I think inside of yourself, and just keep it moving. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was about all the rumors about him leaving and whatever, all those things. Could be that. I think it's just more
Didn't he do
frustration.
it for the away fans? Didn't he just do it
No,
to
no, it was
the
it was
no?
from no, it was in front of our own fans, in front of
That
the
was
camera.
yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think what he annoyed me is his passing sometimes. Oh my God, he just passes the ball away a few times. That really annoyed me. But other than that, I really liked Vlahovic, and I think he's growing game by game. And it's hard to score a lot of goals with this team. So I think he just came out of him. I don't think he was like really like thinking about it, and I don't know. I celebrated like that after I don't know, like a Sunday League goal when that no one was watching. I just did that for no reason. It's just I don't know. It's an easy celebration. I don't know, for example, but yeah, I don't make anything out of it. personally.
Yeah, just like I think the magnitude of the goal, Derby d'Italia, first goal since September, emotions just got to him, so it's pretty
Yeah,
nuts. But yeah, Vlahovic still leaves a lot to be desired, especially technically. And this we always say he plays so far away from the goal, and he should play closer to goal. But this is just Allegri's system. It's been like that ever since he joined. So yeah,
You know what it is? When people say he needs to improve, build up, and I agree, but he's not that type of player. He needs to get the ball in the box,
yeah,
yes,
and
there's
he
a
will
there's
put it
one.
away. If you do that consistently, he will put that away. Now, if you say I don't like that type of player, fine. Like that's your opinion, that's your taste in players, whatever. Does he need to improve? Yes. But if you ask him that for 90 minutes, it will look like that. He's not that type of player. You need to get him the ball in and around the box. He will put it away. We had a player over here where I live in Gang. A few of them, they score, like, they get loads of goals. Technically, shocking. Like, they cannot play. Like, points are like, how are you a footballer? You get the ball in the box, they will put it away 8 out of 10 times. Unbelievable. Like they just know how to put it away. Build up play and playing with the team, terrible. But you know what? The club was built on that. They will get him the ball in the box and they will win games because he will score you, I don't know, 20 plus goal every week on the score sheet. He's that type of player. So I don't know what they thought when they brought him in January, because I think that was obvious for everybody. Like that's the type of player he is. He has a good, you know, shot on him. He's good with his head. You know, he's strong in the box. But if you ask him to play 70% of the time, build up play back towards goal, it's gonna look like this. Like he's not that type of player. He will never be that type of player. So if that's what you want to do moving forward, then yes, talk about selling him because it's not gonna work out. But if you get him the ball into the box, he will put it away. He will. Like he will put it away because he is deadly in the box. If you give him enough chances, if you give him 2 chances, I don't know, a game, 1 chance a game, then yes, like strikers are gonna miss chances. The pressure is on. He's living off what he's living off. Any of these players. So it looks like, but I believe if you give, let's say, if you put him in a team a couple of years back, he will put the ball away a lot of the times because we were more dominant, like we were more present in and around the box, in my opinion, not relying on crosses or whatever. It was just us putting some sort of pressure, and people might say that's midfield not good enough. I get it, but like the point is, I think we need to establish what type of player striker Vlahovic is, and if you don't like that, if you like a striker more like Thuram will be good, build up play, hold up play, but he's not that type of player like he is, like Vlahovic. They're different. They're different.
maybe.
So I think it's not fair. Certain criticism is fair up to a certain point because you need to know what type of player you're dealing with. We saw that at Fiorentina, so I'm confused why everybody is shocked with it, basically.
Yeah, maybe he needs Conte.
Maybe, but I don't need Conte, so
Open
Nah,
up that can
me
space.
neither. Nope.
I know the source wasn't good today on Conte, but it's been out there for weeks
Yeah,
and
it's been
months.
out there
Like
for a while.
everybody's now jumping the gun, but like it's not. It's very it's very clear. Like he said it. Like he said it. He's talking about it on a weekly basis. Like it's very obvious that if Allegri's gone, he's probably gonna be the next one up again. So
I don't want.
it's now just jumping the gun, but like it's not fake news or like it's not confusing news if you know what I mean. It's just everybody wants to be first, but it all depends on Allegri's decision at the end of the season, I think. Um, Other than that, um, I'm not sure what to discuss about that game yesterday. It was just going through the motion. After the game, I was confused what to do with my match reaction. I didn't know if I needed to be angry, happy. Like I was just confused. I didn't even know what to feel. Like I wasn't pissed or like I wasn't. I was just disappointed because of the way the game played out and what we didn't do in that type of game, the way it was playing out, and the goal we conceded. That was just
Yeah.
my overall feeling on the game. But now December, and December is the big one. Monza away Friday. I don't know the order of the games, but it's probably gonna be Napoli at home, Frosinone away, Roma at home. Like I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
is that the
Uh,
order?
if after Napoli, it's gonna be Genoa, then Roma.
Oh, Genoa, Roma, and then Frosinone, something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, so Genoa away in between. That's oh, wow. So it's a tough one, because Monza away we lost last season. Napoli at home, it's Napoli still. Roma at
Yeah.
home, it's Roma, but like it's still Roma. Like it's still a big game.
Yeah.
Frosinone at home, away we don't know what to expect. And
Yeah, from the
Genoa away, like they're a terrible team, but somehow they turn into a super team, and we turn into Genoa if we go to Genoa. I don't know what it is, but I hate
yeah,
going to Genoa and Verona away from home. I hate those two games every single season. I'm actually scared
yes.
to play them away from home. I don't know what it is. I'm scared.
Yeah, every time we play Genoa or Sampdoria, we just basically we lose it at the Marassi, even at the Bentagodi, as you said. Those two away games, I hope Verona get relegated. Honestly, Genoa too.
Yeah.
But it's a tough one. December is, should I say, make or break? December is
Yes.
gonna, like, you can drop a lot of points in December, like a lot of points. I don't know who Inter play. They play Napoli, I think, next week,
Yes.
or
This week.
this week. Excuse me. I keep thinking it's Sunday, but I don't know who else they have on their schedule in December. But like, you can be, I don't know, 7, 8 points off the top. I don't know. Like it can go really, really quickly now. Quick for us. And I think based on this month is what the club will do in January. Are we close? Then they are probably gonna push a little bit more and open, like, try to spend a bit more money. If it's not close, they will try to manage it a little bit, maybe a loan here and there, just to cruise to the season and finish top 4 and then see in the summer. But this month it's tough, man. It's really, really tough because it's 5 games. I think we never played 5 games in 1 month this season. Maybe once, maybe September, but even then it was international break. So
Yeah, because
it's
of
one,
Inter.
2, 3, 4, 5 games. It's and it's 2 away games. It's Genoa away and Frosinone away. Yeah, man, it's like it's not gonna get easy in December. That's what I'm saying.
Sule will punish us.
Oh my god, that's gonna hurt so bad if he does that.
I think
Somebody
he will not
asked.
celebrate. I think he will be really chill.
Somebody asked, "Do you
He
think he
wants
will
to
join
come
in
back.
January?" The answer is no, because he's gonna refuse it. So is Frosinone. We're not
Yeah.
gonna do it. That
Yeah.
it makes no sense. Just let him play. Like, let him play. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna be that. Java saying, with the way we play, the key to winning Scudetto is to win against small teams and not lose with the big teams. But I hope Allegri
Yeah.
gets sacked at the end. I recorded a video for tomorrow. I just said the same thing. It's just Inter will drop points against top teams as well. That's just what happens. It's just not drop too many points against the small teams. And we did that against Sassuolo. Fair. Inter did the same thing. You didn't beat Bologna. Yes, they're having a good season, but you still should be beating Bologna at home, especially if you look at the game we had against Bologna. But that's key. And that's why I'm like, Frosinone away. Like, it's Monza away, Frosinone away, Genoa away. Quote unquote small teams. But these are the games you somehow need to find a way to win if you want to be, pushing ahead. And we will drop points in one of those 3 games. It's very likely it's gonna happen. But somehow, some way, we need to find a way to get that over the line, because that's gonna make the difference at the end of the season. Because, against top teams, you're gonna drop points. The track record of Allegri is not good against top 6 teams. If you want to include Lazio this season, still, like, okay, you won against Lazio, you won against Milan, you took a point against Inter. a point against Bologna, their top six, and a point against Atalanta. So he didn't lose, but you know, Inter are probably gonna win one of those games more, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Um, but yeah, do you
No, you know
guys?
what's funny? Inter failed to beat the same teams we did this
Yeah,
season.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Swallow and Bologna.
But looking forward, do you believe that Inter are gonna drop more points against the small teams compared to us?
We have to believe.
I think
Okay.
so, yeah. They're not
Okay.
this unstoppable force, although they kind of gave that impression in the first few weeks of the season, but
Yeah.
still, like any team can have a fast start and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
slow.
Okay.
Injuries can come in, and you know,
Inzaghi is just not it. That's my hope. Inzaghi
yeah,
is not
he's a
it.
good cup coach, but I don't know about him as a league coach. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
He finds a way to mess it up. I was with Anthony on Inter Worldwide, and he said the same thing. You know, he said it a few times again, like to me, like if he doesn't win it this season, it's probably the end. You know, because he kind of fumbled it 2 years ago. And even last season, he had a moment where it looked like he was getting sacked, and then somehow he made the Champions League final. Like he cannot fail basically this season. Like the pressure is big time on him. And maybe that's what's gonna. But man, it's tough to imagine he's gonna fumble it again. You know, looking at the team he has at his disposal compared to what the others have, he just can't fumble it. Like he can't. Like the gap between him and Napoli, I think it's like you need to mess up big time to bridge that gap again. And to fumble it, you need to do something ridiculously bad, being Inzaghi. So, yes, the hope is maybe that. You know, I think a lot of fans are looking at that, and that's what I said. You know, my hope for the title race grew slightly because I had close to none before yesterday evening, but it's purely based on what I've seen from Inter or I've not seen
Maybe
from
the
Inter.
Champions League fatigue will come to them. I mean, I know
After
they already
January, they play
qualified.
once.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and it starts in February, March. So they still have good 2 months to, and there's no winter break, so they have a good 2 months to actually get a gap or somehow create a gap. Um, Locatelli was our best midfielder by a mile within 10 minutes of coming on into the game. Hans struggled. Wes has no quality but runs a lot, and Robbie was pretty much a fancy Wes. I really hope he leaves. I agree with the Locatelli take, and that's what I said. Same on McKennie and Rabiot. I didn't
Did you
think he
see
had a
any?
bad game yesterday, to be honest, Rob. I think he had just
Yeah.
one of his best games this season, to
Yeah,
be honest. But it is, it's not wow. Like it's not a game you're gonna remember for. Like he doesn't have games you're just gonna remember. Like when he leaves, and I tell you, name me a top Rabiot performance. You will be confused if that makes sense. You know, you don't you don't have a game in front of you where like wow, you have a moment, oh that goal against Milan or that goal against Lazio, but I don't think you have a game where you're like, oh, he was brilliant in that game. You know,
yeah.
he's not that type of player, or has not been for us. So, um, I agree with that
Uh,
take.
did you see any discomfort on Locatelli? Like he's
After the
not
game,
comfortable?
I saw him, on his knees. Um, I don't know. He probably, was filled up with pain still, or you know,
Yeah.
probably I don't know what he took. Pre-game pain,
Yeah,
some
painkiller.
pills, yeah, painkillers to bridge that 30 minutes. But I'm not sure if he's gonna start against Monza. The strange one is Miretti.
Yeah.
What's up with Miretti? Like,
I
is that
think
back?
we really need Miretti against Monza, so we actually have some creativeness
I
in the
think if
midfield.
Locatelli, I think Mikani will be pushed. I think Amiaso will be on the bench. I think Mikani will be on the wing. I think Miretti will play in midfield, and I think Locatelli
Yes.
will start as well against Monza. That's what I think. But that's for Friday already. Crazy. It's Tuesday already, almost over here, and we play in 2 days basically, which is 3 days, which is quick. It's moving fast now, which is good, fun, considering we had the international break. If you guys have no other remarks on the game, because I don't, then I'm gonna wrap this one up. Anything I didn't mention, or you guys wants to mention?
No, I think we hit everything on the head. So
I think Nicolas C was not horrible. Like
No.
Oh, that's
I
not
don't
his.
understand the heat he gets. I think he wasn't worse than any of the other midfielders. I
No.
think he
No.
was okay for it was his first game as well. So
I
Yeah.
think in the second half, like the first 10 minutes, you can see he needed to be subbed, and Allegri made that sub because he was
yeah,
it was getting a bit too much. Like he was giving the ball away a bit too easy. Couldn't keep his head cool. Like not big errors, but like playing out a little bit. But I think that was kind of expected, if I'm being honest. And
Yeah, I
after the
remember.
game, he gave an interview that was very honest and very clear. Like he was very open, talked about his position, talking about this is not really the game I used to play. This
yeah.
deep, giving the ball. I struggle.
Shooting
Yeah,
is his. Yeah,
he was very honest about it. And I think everybody knew that it was just an emergency, and he made the best out of it. Especially in the first half. It didn't completely. How do you want to say that? It didn't look horrible. It wasn't like, oh my god, help him out, help that kid out.
Yeah,
yeah,
but subbing him off was necessary and
It,
stuff because I remember there was this one moment where he was on the edge of the box and he held on to it for so
yeah, yeah,
long.
yeah.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
necessary. It was.
And then he gave it away again.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
yeah. In the span, like in 5 minutes, he gave the ball away 3 times in the
yeah,
same. But it
yeah,
was needed. But again, like we have no option, so I'm not gonna slate him, whatever.
yeah.
And like it's his first minutes. Like I don't count the other 2 minutes he got subbed on.
Yeah.
This was the first minute of a season, so not easy. But let's see how that will go into January. I think. That's it. We're gonna wrap this one up. If you haven't liked the video, do like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I will be live Wednesday again, and then wait, Thursday. I'm out. Friday we play
We play Monza on Friday.
we play Friday Monza, so I won't be live on Friday. We'll be live. The match reaction, I don't know who's available, will be on Sunday because I'm out on Saturday. So we will do this show on Sunday evening, probably a bit earlier. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, I have a matchday vlog from Malik from the Cagliari game that I'm probably gonna drop on Wednesday morning. So stay tuned for that. And then I have some previews as usual. And let's see what else comes out tomorrow into the news. Thanks, Norbert and Malik, for joining.
No.
Thanks, everybody in the chat, for joining. And I'll see you guys back live Wednesday. Ciao.